Good evening. I wanted to give you a small video here as we enter week 2 of module 1. I want to remind you of a couple different things as we work through the last part of module 1. First of all, let me say I see some really good discussion online, and you bring in some good points out as you go back and forth. Debating different perspectives and based on different experiences, and so that is really good to see. I do want to emphasize this idea that you are active throughout the module in the very beginning, in the middle, and at the end, that you're not just waiting all at one time to contribute online, because that's a big part of your grade. And more importantly, not only are you answering the initial questions and you're giving your initial responses, but then you are responding to the people who are responding to your initial answers. And then I want to see you actively jumping in and out of different conversations. So at the end of the module, you really should have multiple postings to show your active participation. Okay, so let me emphasize that. And I think what I'm going to try to do is, as we go into module 2, I will post some samples of discussion boards to give you something to work from. I think that would ease some of the stress that some students have had over the time I've done this with online classes. Second, I want to encourage you, as you prepare to write the first part of your paper, to take a look at the samples that I posted. Also, it's really important when you get to the context question and the writing process that you're interviewing supervisors, people on the writing team, and teachers that have been involved in that process. That's really kind of an important element of that writing process when you're looking at how it was developed. So I just want to talk about that a little bit. But before that, remember, in the beginning part of the paper, you're going to be introducing yourself. You're going to be talking about where you work, what your role is in relationship to the curriculum, just so I have a sense of who you are and how you're connected to it, and then identifying the curriculum. And then in terms of the context, I want you, as I shared with you, to use that Maryland report card to get solid demographics about what the makeup of your school. But I want to emphasize that you're going to need more than just demographics. I want you to talk about the staff. I want you to talk about the community and the culture of the school. I want you to talk about what are the pressing issues in the district, whether it's college and career readiness, or integration of technology, or different focus that they might have at different levels, whatever it is that might fit for you. So that adds a little depth to that context question. Okay. And then when you're looking at the writing process, I want you to get the background about how it was developed. I have a video on this, and you can look at those questions again as a reminder of what has to be included in that part. One of the key parts of the writing process is who made up the team, and you're gonna need to interview somebody to talk about who was involved in the writing of the team, and then what roles they played and what parts they represented. Did they represent themselves, the students, the school, the district, that kind of piece, and were there blind spots to the people, like who was missing? Was Esau missing, or an element of maybe having some representation of special education or even gifted and talented, don't forget to look at it in that context when you're looking at that writing process. And then it's also important in that writing process of how it was developed, but also how was the curriculum kind of pushed out to all teachers. It was just delivered all at one time. It went out in phases. It went out at in-service week, and we got all new curriculum, and it was just given to us, and it was dropped on us, or did we have a realization of what was going to be expected of us? So talk about how it was delivered to the full staff too. That's important. And then in terms of the materials, you're describing the general structure of the curriculum. I just want a snapshot of what's included. And then we talked about those definitions connected to the online question, and you're gonna how is it best represented as a document, as a sequence of study, all those different definitions. Is it just made up of, would you say it's centered more around the standards and objectives, or is it more centered around planned experiences? All those different definitions, so you're making that connection too, related to the materials. But it's also important when you talk about the foundation and the reform movements. If you're going to talk about Common Core or No Child Left Behind, you want to look and make connections through Henson's text, those connections that historical connections that can be made. Don't just say that it's based on Common Core standards. Well, how did Common Core come about? So that you're looking at the historical background to whatever reform movement you might mention, in how it impacted the development of your curriculum. And then you're looking at I think it's page 54 and I think maybe 45. I can't remember both pages, but you're looking at that society-school relationship, how schools impact society and how society impacts schools. And I put another PowerPoint up there, but you're demonstrating the ones that are most representative of your school and your society that you're working in, or the society in general. But you certainly could make some connections, and as most of you already did online with parent participation, technology, those kinds of things. You don't need 7 of them. You need the ones that most represent what you're looking at. And then and finally, you have the format. It's important that you're doing all the APA stuff as you get ready to delve into this first piece. But I think you have a good start here. But I want to emphasize to you to not wait. Start writing it, start getting it done, so that you're not crammed at the end with time. And it's important, I can't emphasize this enough, especially as we go forward, that you're staying up with the learning logs, one in the beginning, one in the middle, one at the end. What I hope to get, how is it going in the middle, and what I got out of each module as we work through it. So those are just some general reminders of staying engaged, staying on top of things, and making sure you're using time as well as you can, being a good manager of your time, so it doesn't get away from you. Because that's the thing I've seen over my time of doing this, is that people wait and then they become really anxious about, I can't write that much. You'll find that you can write more than you thought when you think of these questions in a deep and meaningful way. So I just wanted to take some time to kind of post that and put that out there for you. And certainly if you have questions or concerns, you can always contact me. I will talk you through things. give my perspective on any ideas that you have or ways that you think you're going to approach things. So keep working hard. We got a couple more days through this module, and we'll get into another one. But finish strong. I want to emphasize that, and continue to work hard for me. Okay. Thank you so much. Talk to you soon.